How you doing, folks? I'm Captain Jordan Bransfield, and today I'm here to teach you how to pick the proper color for your hard baits. What type of hard baits am I talking about? I'm talking about balsa hard baits, hard plastic, crankbaits, jerk baits, topwater lures, swim baits, glide baits, anything in that sort of range of baits. Now when it comes to colors, you have a lot of options. You know, some companies offer over 50 different colors for a certain hard bait, and kudos to them, that's actually really cool. But when it comes down to it, some of those colors are made to catch fish and others are made to catch you. They're made to get you to pay for them, maybe as collector's items. I'm not really into collecting baits. When I buy something, I want to use it and I want it to work for me. And today I'm going to show you my process on how I go about doing that. Usually, I break my colors down into 3 color groups and 2 categories. My 3 color groups are metallic, transparent, and painted baits. For right now, we're going to start with painted baits. I'm going to give you some examples of painted baits, and I'm going to tell you exactly when you could throw them. And at the end of this video, you're going to be able to take either any 3 of those, pick it up off the shelf, and look at it and go, you know, I could throw this at this certain time, and you can make more of an informed decision on your buying. So let's start with painted, like I said. The first one I guess we'll start with is this big glide bait right here. When I'm looking at painted baits, usually I'm looking at the side and the belly of the bait. Usually if you can't see the inside of the bait, it's a painted bait. Usually your colors are white, bone, your dark colors like black, like this popper right here, you know, you throw this. When do you throw a painted bait? That's the main part of this video. You throw a painted bait when there's clouds in the sky. You know what I'm saying? And it's as plain and as simple as that. Clouds in the sky, throw a painted bait. Here's a great example of the definition of a painted bait. This is a whopper plopper in the color bone. Bone, you kind of get a couple options depending on the company. You could get a white colored bait like this, or you could get, it's more of like a cream color to tan, and they're both considered white. So bone, white, it is what it is. Put them in there. How to differentiate, like I said, a colored bait from everything else. You look at the belly. If the belly is painted, it's more than likely a colored bait. Here I have an example of a metallic bait with a painted belly. So you also have to look at the sides when you're deciding what's what and what you're buying. Our next group of colored, our next group in the color categories is metallic baits. Metallic baits range from anything like this gold and blackback husky jerk to this right here, which is, let's see if I can get it unstuck, to this floating rogue in silver and with a blue back. So blue back, silver rogue, you know, this is a floater. And then you have other categories like that. You have, I've got all my rattle traps stuck together. This is a chartreuse and chrome. And this is like a gold and, see if I can get them apart here. No, but that's like a gold with a black top and it has a green stripe down the top. So some other options for metallic baits. You have, let's see, something like this, Yozuri F Minnow, which is a great example of a metallic bait. It has a foil insert. So the foil insert is made to reflect light, and you can see it's also got the outer plastic has kind of curves in it to reflect light differently. So when it's swimming through the water, it flashes in different angles. So also, yeah, like I said, you have your solid colors that are gold, and then you have like a foil insert for your metallics. How do you know? Another way to figure out is you look at the packaging. Some of the packagings, the names are super obvious, like this Rapala Husky Jerk here. The name of it is silver. Silver is metal, metal is metallic. Bada bing, bada bing, there you go. Our next group of baits is our transparent baits. And what do I mean by transparent baits? This right here is a great example. I'll use this right here. This is a Berkeley Skinny Cutter 110 in the color Ghost Vapor. And when you're selecting a transparent bait, you want to look at the bait, and in this case you can see completely all the way through the bait. You can see the weight transfer systems. You can see how it's cut off with different air pockets, and that's one of the best ways to figure if you have a transparent bait. Another thing to note with transparent baits, a lot of the transparent baits come with what's called an abalone color, and in the case of this Strike King crankbait, you can see it when the light reflects off it. It changes kind of from a purple to green. That's an abalone color, and that's kind of a spray that they put on to reflect light differently, like everything else. And that is another giveaway for transparent baits. When to throw transparent baits and metallic baits. You throw those two types of baits when there's sun. When there's high sun, the sun's creeping up in the morning and there's no clouds, throw a metallic, throw a transparent bait. When there's clouds of any kind in the sky, pick up a painted bait. It's that simple. There's no other things, but in later episodes we're gonna go deeper, do a deeper dive into these baits and kind of pinpoint what you should throw and when to maximize your ability to catch fish. I'm just gonna go through some options and some different things you should look for in baits, and in different ways that these baits are gonna be presented to you to buy. So and decisions you have to make when classifying these baits. So this right here, this is a Storm Arashi Rattler. It's a size 3 crankbait, and when you look at this bait, the scale pattern is metallic, but the inside of the bait is transparent, and you can see the rattles going around in there. Maybe you can see them. How are you gonna decide whether this is a metallic bait or a transparent bait? I'm gonna go with the side of the bait, the biggest side of the bait, the side that's flashing when it's swimming through the water is the transparent side. So I'm gonna put this in the transparent category. Another thing to look for in painted baits is they're usually gonna be a natural type of color. They're gonna replicate something very well. And like in the case of this Mike Booka, I think this is the bullgill. Yeah, this one is in a crappy color, and you know it's visual. You can see that this is a crappy, and we're gonna put that in the painted bait category. Some other options you have in that is, you know, this DT. It's a bluegill. You look at the belly's white. This is the perfect example of a painted bait. You know, another thing you have to when making decisions on what's what. Let's take this bluegill right here from Biolabs. This bait is super shiny. I mean, the finish on this bait is crazy. It's like they dipped it in enamel or something. But what you have to do is you have to get past the fact that it's shiny, and you have to look at the fact that it's painted. And you have to make that decision when you're looking at baits, and when you're gonna throw them. And I mean, it's super simple. You know, just kind of have to, you know, pay attention to what you're buying, because you don't want to buy anything and then like, oh man, I meant to buy this, and then you have a tackle box full of stuff that you don't use. You know, I kind of do a culling system with my baits. You know, I find something, I'll get caught up in the colors, and I'll be like, wow, that's really cool right there, and I'll start fishing it, and I won't catch anything on it, so I'll sit in my box for months on end, and then months later I go, I still got this thing here, and I won't put that bait down till I lose it, just to get rid of it. So you don't want to do that, because that's kind of just a waste of money. Some other options for painted baits in poppers here, you see this one is a natural, just a natural minnow color. You know, that's going to go in the painted category. Let's see. We're going to look at next the baits with kind of all those categories together. Is this 90 size whopper plopper. You know, it's got a painted belly, it's got a foil insert, you could see the weighted transfer system, it's got scale patterns, like 2 types of scale patterns painted onto it. How do you know, where do you put this in my categories and groups? You know, I'm gonna look at the side of the bait, and the most prominent thing in this bait to me is the foil insert and kind of like its transparency, and I'm just gonna go with the foil and put this in the metallic category for baits. And you know, I'm gonna throw that in the afternoon when the sun is super high. I'm gonna throw it in summer too, which we're gonna get into that in the next episode of when to throw these baits. and to really get deep down into the depths of choosing these baits. Here's another option to look for. This is just a little Yozuri lipless crankbait, if I can get it from. And when you look at this bait, you know, it's got the orange belly, it's got the black top, and it's got a silver side, which right there, boom, metallic. I'm gonna throw it in there. But you look at the finish, and the finish is a scale pattern, and then it's got the metallic underneath that the finish is pressed into. And you know, this may be dull sometimes, and it may be shiny, but when you really look at it, it's metallic, and the way it reflects light, you know, just something else to look out for. You know, this is a metallic bait. What's another one to look for? I think we already. Oh, here we go. We're gonna go with this X prop. This X prop here is super cool. Not only does it have a single foil insert, it has a double foil insert, and each side of the foil follows the contour of the bait. So it kind of looks like it's painted on there, but this is actually a foil bait, and it's another thing to pay attention to. I think I've covered everything. In the next episode, like I said, we're going to go over when exactly the specifics, and at the end of that episode, you'll be able to pick up a bait right out of the package, and you're going to be like, this is exactly what I want this bait for, and it matches, it hits all those boxes, and you know, that bait is a better weapon inside your tackle box rather than not knowing when to throw it. And just seeing that, hey man, that thing looks cool. You know what I'm saying? Well, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe and share. My social media is down inside the description. Have a great day. Go catch a fish, right?